Minaj self-destructed. Dave Chappelle self-destructed. Whitney Houston self-destructed. Things like that.
Yeah,
People that have been restricted. I don't think Dave Chappelle, not that he wasn't being himself, but because he was himself, like, just to separate that narrative, just because he was
yeah,
himself, the type of control they tried to have over him, that is what he
yeah,
was. That is what made him self-destructive. Like, oh, there's too much on me, and I'm just trying to be me. And that's the thing. And
yeah,
Nikki self because she's not able to be herself. Same thing with
yeah.
Whitney Houston. I went from singing in the church and thinking I'm just going to sing and things like that to now I'm the voice and I'm this, and I just want to get my clit licked, but I can't get my clit licked because they can't lick my clit because I like it licked by women. So that sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? We don't allow these celebrities that we love. Well, I do, but people don't allow the celebrities they love so much to even, like Monique said, be able to be themselves. Now,
Yeah.
Monique talked about here. Well, I'm not even going to talk about her because she says sometimes it's which gets into that gray area when I get to talking about LGBTQIA because the way she talking ain't so much bisexual. It's when sexual. When I want it, when we gonna do it, and however I want it done.
Yeah,
That's
cause she didn't say she doing nothing to eat, and she said that she don't mind being ate.
thank
So
you and
what that
goodbye.
mean? I'm not LGBTQ, but I'm pretty sure. Like I don't think that's it though.
She's just a
I'm pretty
freak,
sure that's not
and
it. That's
that's just
not
the
it.
thing.
I don't think that's part of it.
That's just the thing
'Cause,
because and that's
yeah,
because and that goes back into the double standards or the stigma of homosexuality against compared to gay men compared to lesbians. That's just a
hmm
gay men to gay women.
hmm
Um, that sort of thing, because it's always been acceptable. Like I said, I ain't never heard of a man that don't ain't interested in some lesbian action. You know what I mean? And because of that, females feel like they have the ability to experiment. I'm all for that. You should experiment anything from from snails to snatch.
right,
Experiment anything that you want to be able to experiment with because that's your life to live. But it's when
right.
you start to take that experiment and exploit it on the backs of people who genuinely live this type of lifestyle. And then because when you
Yeah.
exploit it, think, oh, I can go back and forth and I can do this and I can do that. Oh, I'm not gay. I just
Don't
want to
make
do this.
don't make it be trendy. That's what I don't like anything, but
Don't make
especially
it
when
be
it comes to
trendy.
LGBTQ, don't make it a trend because people
That's the
dying
thing.
and being unalive every day over this. Don't do that.
Because now the people that are genuinely living that life have to then answer questions about things that they not, you know what I'm saying, about
That has nothing to do with
the type of
them at
lifestyle that
all.
you know what I'm saying that they don't identify with. I'm not a sometime gay. I don't know about I'll dibble over here or I'll dabble over there. I don't know about people who are bisexual and like what they like, but it's not you
Yeah,
can't add, indulge and then condemn. You can't do
yeah,
that
yeah.
because I'm not you know what I'm saying as somebody who's a gold star gay. You can't I think it's yeah I'm gold star. You can't
hmm
I'm not going back and forth. I'm not like, oh yeah, I only fuck guys, and then every now and then I fuck a girl. But I don't really, then I'm turning down guys when I'm fucking on girls, or turning down girls when I'm fucking on guys. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Right.
That's the thing about living in your truth, respecting somebody who is upfront in what they do and things like that, which is reality, and that's utopian, and that's not what we have. But
Yeah.
I don't come say on Tuesdays, Thursdays. I don't care. You fuck bitches and niggas throughout the week simultaneously. I don't know, but the fact that's how you get on. Let me tell you this: you talk about how you get on, you'll find somebody who get on just like you. But as opposed to trying
Right.
to hold it in because you're scared about how somebody will respond, or you scared somebody's not going to accept that, or whatever the case may be. When you could just be upfront, cut that if it's going to be cut, and then
Yeah.
move on. Because the freaky, then what you realize is that people be out here freaky sneaky. Okay,
Yeah. And it's like it's cool, but the thing about it is don't do that and then condemn other people. Just live in your truth, be in your lane. You know what I'm saying? And don't condemn other people. The thing that I hate, especially when it comes to the church, is the fact that y'all fucking up the things even with the straight shit that y'all do. Like y'all not
right.
even
Y'all are
y'all fucking
straight
it up
men, and
already.
y'all worried about the games. That's the thing too. First of
Right?
all, worried about
Stop
clean.
playing. Like y'all need to stop. Everybody needs to stop. Like I made a video about that. because the guy had said, man, he said that the LGBTQ use pronouns like they use titles, like the whole prophetess and apostle and all of that. And I'm like,
I
nah,
know.
that's not how that works. Like, nah, that's not. No, and I'm just now learning about the pronoun thing, and I'm like, no, that's not. I know that's not it. Like I know that's not. And he said, God told him that. I said, y'all got to stop using God, because God ain't told y'all that. Y'all keep saying, I hear God telling me, watch yourself. Be very careful with that. Because you really have to really like you have to be careful with that, because if God is not into confusion, you just created confusion.
No,
You just
seriously.
created animosity, and that's not of God. So what are you doing?
A direct contradiction. That's the thing about
Yeah.
church too. It's all which ain't much different than the state. The separation of church and state. It ain't much
Mm.
different than how the state and the government and everything do too. It's a complete contradiction. And
Yeah.
y'all spend so much time worrying about what the sinners is doing. Y'all ain't worried about the sins the saint is committing. So that's my
Right.
thing with religion, and Christianity specifically, mostly all organized religions. The religion that we're supposed to be practicing goes back into what I'm saying about what they give us is not what we need, is what they don't show us what we need to have. And the religion that we're not aware of or don't know much about is probably the religion that we need, especially as Black people. We was practicing something extreme. Now, if you want to call us African American, let's say I'm African American. I am spiritually based, and
Hmm.
I function off of the land and the minerals and the resources that I have amongst me.
Yeah.
I'm not about religion and paying in the tax, the offerings and the pew funds and the building funds. I'm not into going to a sermon and getting in the judgment and and the ridicule, and I'm not into that. Forcing me to be something and things. No, because well,
I don't understand why they can't separate the things. I don't mind you being somebody. You know what I'm saying? I have an issue with prosperity teaching, but at the same time, I don't believe, because God ain't coming back. He coming back with all power in his hand. He got, I read Revelations. So why am
Mhm.
I sitting here, you know what I'm saying, being like that's what Jesus was? I'm okay with if that's the life for me. If it means
Right.
that it's going to jeopardize me as a person, I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think. I think when we get back to the character of prosperity teaching and talking about that being how to mold character, and then you having success, I can understand prosperity teaching. But outside of that, you just telling people, yeah, just get what you want, and God's gonna do it. And da, 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 da. God might just not. And you still got to sit in that as a believer, and they don't understand that. It's like you can prosperity teach all you want, but when people are at their lowest and things not doing right, you got to tell them the real. And you have to teach the real thing, and you have to also teach the real thing as it pertains to God and what's going on right now. And when y'all all confused, it confuses everybody. That's the thing. I
But let
feel
me tell
I
you this:
feel.
now we have just explained everything that we just been talking about, but place it in a religious setting. Everything
Hmm.
that we just talked about is now placed in a religious setting. That's like it begets the cycle. It continues the cycle.
Hmm.
It
It does.
fuels all this fuck shit and fuckery because that right there is the very reason I really don't even go to church. You have to preach prosperity because people have to be in a good mood to give. If you talk about Lord, you better save your money
And
because you
that's what
got to
I'm
keep
saying.
up.
And if that's all it's for, then
Then
let that
nobody
be
will have the
it.
building.
If that's all it's for, then let that be the thing, though. You see what I'm saying? But here's the thing: you're preaching hope, you're preaching Jesus, you're preaching salvation. You got to pick and choose. It's either you're doing this because you want seats in the pews and money, or you really trying to revolutionize and elevate a people for Christ. It's the thing you put. It's not, they can't be mutually exclusive, because one thing means greed and the other one means actual revolution, change your heart, your character. You got to actually
Mhm.
character build, to even if you are if you are going to be a prosper and you want everybody to give and you want to have all this, you also have to have a character to maintain what you have. $1 million people who are millionaires and billionaires have a certain character they have to maintain. You see what I'm saying? Certain relationships, those type of things. So it's like, if you're not
Absolutely.
teaching that, why are you teaching prosperity? Like, you're not doing it right. If you
But they're
gonna
not.
if
But
you gonna
it's not
teach
even
it
about
with
doing it right.
character.
They're not doing it for the right reasons. But they teaching
Yeah,
it. They teach it. They're teaching it for the right results, though, and that's what it's about. It's about the results. Honestly, I feel like I don't know. No, you don't always got to be a Debbie Downer at church. But if we kick it some real shit and maybe you a light every first Sunday or whatever the case may be, but most times people need to hear real things. People connect with real shit and
yeah,
things like that, like, that sort of thing. And it's not so much like I said. I'm not going to church to be criticized, ridiculed, or even have the sermon be focused around my lifestyle or anything like that. We shouldn't be focused anything around lifestyle. If it's going to be about a lifestyle, it's about treating others the way you want to be treated and do as the
yeah.
others as the Bible said and all that stuff and things like that.
Mhm.
And well, and that's fine because obviously do pastors do that. But now we're
They
getting
do.
to now we're at now the problem is that now there's a church on this block and then 2 blocks over there's another church that do that. There's 2 blocks over there's another church that do that. Then there's a
There's
big
too
church.
many of them. Like how many Episcopal black men? That's too much.
Yes, yes,
Especially
and
when they're
yeah,
all supposed to be teaching the same thing. Like, what are you doing?
y'all teaching the same thing, and that's the thing. It ain't nobody giving back to nothing.
Right.
All y'all doing is
Nothing
spending this
going on.
money, ain't putting it
I'm
nowhere.
just
Just
collecting
whatever,
checks.
however y'all do what y'all do. You keep it going, but ain't helping nobody on the back end or whatever, or even not even that, not because I'm not gonna say maybe they don't, maybe they do help people, but I feel like it should be more of a local thing. If y'all lock them doors until somebody give $100 out the row, then y'all should be telling me where the hell y'all putting this $100. And it's not
You
in
absolutely
the,
should.
it's not
If you
in
gonna
the,
ask where my W-2s is, I need to have bank statements about what's going on I need all
not
the
from
paperwork. What are you talking about?
because that's this church is out here doing credit checks,
Oh
and
no. Oh no.
this church is
No,
out
no,
here
no,
doing
no.
credit checks. And now we doing something for the wrong reasons. Now we first of all we the conversation ends in the fact that religion is based is a communism is a capitalism based. It is it is they always talk about separation of church and state. It is a direct extension from the state. So it can't be a fucking separation of church and state. It can't be.
Especially when the people who they believe in the faith and they're putting in the seats of government. So what you gonna do then? Like it's just they're gonna say that they're holding their stance and they're gonna have the backing of the Senate and House and whoever else is gonna favor them with who has the same religious background. So there you go. You have religion into government. That's how that works. It's not uh separately. It's mutually exclusive. Ain't that what the word is? I think
Well,
that's
I don't know if it's mutually exclusive. They're in the same damn. They're exclusive
they in the
together.
thing. Yeah, it's same this in the
Oh,
same thing but in together. Whatever that term is.
no, because I like that term. I'm just not exactly sure of the exact definition. But
You
that's the
said
thing.
shut my
If
but
it
you know
is
what I'm
church
talking
and
about.
state, that's the perfect thing. Being mutually exclusive, sure,
Yeah.
why not? But it's a problem because you can't have people. You can't speak to religion and you can't speak to politics because what you
Yeah.
do in politics you can't do in religion and the things you do in religion you can't do in politics, so there has to be a separation. But like you said, now we have these politicians in the pocket with these pastors like they did on the Shy. Did you watch Shy? You see how they did that in the pockets
I
of these
haven't watched the
politicians?
side. I
Oh,
will
like
though.
it was
I
Papa's
haven't
dad.
watched it.
Papa was so pissed that his dad got in the bed with Lena Waithe, not the bed, but she was using him. She was giving him money so to get his people to vote for her. This is different. Like that's like no, like no.
This sounds like one of them Tyler Perry things. I think it was
Girl, I
who
don't
was
watch
it? What's
nothing
his
Tyler
name?
Perry. Don't even do me. I don't watch no
No.
Tyler Perry. Don't do me. Okay, this is quality
Well, no,
program.
maybe it's not Tyler, but sinners and something like that, where like the church was getting money, and I know what you're talking about. I think or maybe it's Greenleaf, something like that. It's some stuff
Oh,
like that,
maybe it was Greenleaf.
but
Greenleaf was good.
it really is good. But I mean, I don't know. I'm at this place with my, because I'm a Christian. I grew up in church. I still
Mhm.
say I'm a Christian, but but when I speak, people be thinking like, oh, I'm a new ager and all that type of stuff. And it's like,
Yeah,
no, I just feel like I feel like I understand God a lot, a little bit more than y'all, because y'all weird to me. I love God, but I have an issue with church folk.
sure.
And I can't really get out of that. And so it's like I know God for myself, and so because I know God for myself, I try not to. But I be proud like God. I don't like your people very much. I don't be liking them. They get on
No,
my nerves.
and that's the thing too. Now, when you talk about if God knows all and everything like that, they don't take all this. Oh, Father, Heavenly Father, wherefore that being God, God. No,
No,
listen,
I be talking to them straight like I'm talking to you on the
straight like that. Straight like that.
straight
Because
like
I know
that.
I'm annoyed by your people. God know the damn people. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
you
I'm
pray
like,
for
I don't like them, Lord.
the
I be trying to do it.
and that I mean, and that's common, and that's and but
Yeah.
God is common, but that's real. You know what I'm saying? People, let me tell you, people who float around the world like everything is okay is, let me tell you, committing some of the worst sins in the secret places that they've never discussed with
Yeah.
anybody else.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they smiled up
Yeah.
in your face and everything like that, and probably even helped you through a dark time. But out here doing the worst of the worst because
The worst of the worst of
that's how
people.
they cope. That's how they balance.
And
People out here doing.
my thing is I value I value my faith enough to that it's not just a religion to me. It's a faith, which means it's a practice. And so
Mhm.
I am attempting to try to be on the road of uplifting my faith. However, you see what I'm saying? I'm not. I don't get it from certain things, and like even if I like listen to certain sermons or different like messages, I'm having to get the meat of it and spit out the bones so that I'm not sitting here like these people annoy me. Like it's just it's a thing of where I'm using certain things to build upon my faith as opposed to using them and like interested in people so much to where it's almost like, and I think all Christian people have done it before to where they've so much into certain figures and
Mhm.
certain people in these spaces and in these places that it's almost like you see them as God and you go to them
Yeah.
as though you were going to God. And it's like that is because you're not placed in those places to do that. You are literally supposed to be pointing to God Himself and in your actions and how you're doing and you being in your space. But if you're not doing that, of course they're going to always be looking to you. You see what I'm saying? And
Right.
so they don't know their own anointing. They don't know that you haven't given them the tools to go to God for themselves. So of course they're calling you and saying, "Hey, what's up?
You
I need
haven't
you to
given
pray
them
for
the
me for
tools to
this."
go to God for themselves. You haven't given them
Yeah.
the tools to recognize the God within them.
Yes. And that's
So
what
they
I'm
find
saying. It's like
themselves
you can't.
dependent. Yes, that's exactly
And
what the fuck you
that's
said.
the disconnect. That's the disconnect of
Yes,
people, and that's why I understand why people are not into Christianity. If it hurts for me because I wish they understood.
sure.
I wish I understood the God the way I understand it, and I hope and pray that God will help me to understand to be able to translate it to a way that people it would click, and then God can do the rest. But at the end of the day, like I can't. I feel. I feel bad because I think they miss it. They miss God and trying to get people, and then they miss the fact that it's people. People are not God, and God is not always in people. And so you
Mhm.
have to go to God for yourself in order to see who God is. And then it's like, oh, I understand the people that you got around me. I understand these human beings that you have around me. I can maneuver them, and I don't need them as much. And I'm not looking to them because I know who God is. And that's not what they're teaching. That's not what's in them like that. And it hurts me because I know it gotta hurt God because I know God is sitting here looking like that's not what I said and that's not what I feel
Oh,
and that's not my like I just don't think God feels like that. So I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent. I don't mean I'm so sorry.
you
This
don't have to
wasn't even a
apologize.
point.
No, no, not even that. I'm just looking at when I'm looking, I'm thinking, and religion it definitely always makes me think. I'm all especially because and when I have conversations with people who are religious and what my opinions and my standpoint is and everything like that, I just be open to it. Just because I was raised in religion, my family is like the foundation of religions not religions, but the foundation of like many people's church experience. You know what I'm saying? My family has started two big churches in Buffalo, and lots of people have went there. So things like that. It was not that it was ingrained in me, but it was a part of my life. And then it was more so mannerisms and character and behavior, behavior that was like, okay, we're religious, we conducted ourselves like this. We were prim and proper and shady and nasty. And that was what we did. So then you get older and you start to realize different things, you see different things, and then you start to ask questions and stuff like that. And that's what it was for me. So I appreciate conversations where people are religious and that is, where they find their faith and things like that. But ultimately, I feel, and I'm not deterring nobody. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing anything. But the fact is that it's just another extension, like I said, an extension of the government, the extension of capitalism to put a cap on the people's minds. Because the same way the school don't teach you how to start an LLC is the same way the church don't give you the tools to find the strength or the ability or the encouragement within yourself. For me, not about seeking out or dropping to your knees and things like that. Whether you find a peace, whether you find it in a chair, whether you find a moment to regroup and gather yourself, whether you find a moment to regroup, gather, and look within yourself to see these are the things that I respond to well. These are the things that I don't respond to too well. These are the things that I look after for. This is when I'm most emotional and things like that to understand the person that you are so that you can be the best functioning human being in society, then everybody does everybody a disservice. And I can't stand behind the school system and I can't stand behind religion because nobody's giving anybody the tools to really do something in the world. Honestly,
Yeah.
anybody who has done something either dropped out or has maybe been a little nepotism into the thing or have done things that they will not discuss with other people like Oprah will have
Yeah.
done things with other people that they will not discuss to get to the places that they at and you think, oh well, I just have my degree and things like that. Or even Wendy when she talks about, yeah, I went to Northwestern and I went around, but it wasn't until after she did the fucking shit with Max B came and did the things with her until she started to fucking blow up. So it's all about, it's that sort of thing. And no, in church, we're not talking about being taken advantage of or whatever the
Right.
case may be or things like that. But the fact is that they don't even give you the tools to even put you to encourage you to be in a position to be taken advantage of because they want you to be
Right.
taken advantage of right
They
here.
want you to be yeah, they want you to be, and I think that's the thing too. I've started to become a person who became a new ager in a sense because I started to ask more questions.
Mhm.
And then I started to look into those into seeking out those answers. And then I came to really like being to self and really just thinking and a lot of that was just me by myself and really praying to God. And then in certain things, like he just showed me certain things. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's not the thing about it is that I understand people who do not care for a religion in a sense because of the fact that the people and certain things it has just messed it up for everybody. And then it's like because of the fact that I'm Christian, people don't think that I don't see the contradictions in the word. I absolutely do. And
Mhm.
but the thing about it is that it's to me it's more of it's more of me being able to have instances where I've encountered God
Mhm.
over me over my overall experiences in the church. I was never in a space to where, and this when I really started to really dive in and kind of dissect my faith, I've really realized how much I was so into pastors, teachers, because the word was rich to me. And so I, in a very like out of my head, was like, I'd rather go to them. It wasn't
Right.
until I actually had to go through places of being by myself and having to really lean on God for myself that I
Mhm.
realized, oh, I really didn't know God. I was just being in church. I
Right.
really don't know about it. I've been churched, and so that's the thing. And I'm like, I don't. I have empathy. And I have understanding for those people because I absolutely get it because I've been there, and I'm
Mhm.
I'm transitioning out of being religious and in a sense of being in a religious space and having religion to a space of being able to understand and know God. And it's a bad thing because of the fact that it's been moments to where I've been condemned, like not in the sense of like I'm reading, but I've literally had to be like, "Now you know that's not right." I wouldn't do
Right.
that for myself. You know what I'm saying? Because in the natural world, people just be doing whatever they feel. But when there's certain things to be like, "Ooh, I messed up," and I got to go back and tell between my legs because I know it. I got to go and apologize. That's an experience of God because on a natural sense, you wouldn't do that type of shit. You wouldn't go and do it because in your mind you did what you're supposed to do and that is what it is. But for people to really shift and say, "Damn, I fucked up," turn back around, apologize, and then make amends and atonement and actually act on those things, it is an eternal process, but it's a necessary process in order for anybody to see if you're a believer or not. You know what I mean? And I am a Christian, but I want to be a Christos believer. That's what I think we should be coming to as people who are going to be quote unquote Christians and believe in Christ and all of that. We're supposed to be walking as he walked until he comes. That's what it's supposed to be. But we're all into self. We're all into religion. We're all in the rituality of religion, and to the point to where now we're brain dead and we don't even see God in any situation until somebody shows it to us via a pastor, a preacher, and all of that. And that's my issue with that. Is that's my issue, and that's what I'm coming out of. But it's a dang on process because every time I be feeling like, dang, forget, I don't even want to say I'm a Christian no more.
Right.
But
For sure.
I know God. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but I have had those moments where I'm like, you got to make it make sense. What is this? Like, what's
That's
going on?
where I'm at with that too. It's like because organized religion, going to church every Sunday and make you feel like you can't have the same relationship if you don't walk into a building, and that right,
I
that's the
know.
thing for me.
I had to tell my mama that. I was like, I don't have to. But if you can't not assemble. Yes, I'm like, I'm assemble when I'm with you. You're a believer. I'm assemble when I get a group. This is an assembly. This live is an assembly. Like it's the same thing. If you're with people that are like minded, iron sharpens iron. You can be able to have God experience in those spaces if you have that type of communion in a sense. It's about to be to where we can't go to a church and then what you gonna do?
Exactly. Well, that's where it
I mean,
was,
you
and
just
people found that, and that's the thing too.
yeah.
And that's the thing about it. Religion. That's what. This is what I'm saying. That's where it was in the pandemic, where you couldn't go to church, and people still found that they were
Mhm.
still saved on Monday after not being able to go to church on Sunday. So now, then that is another thing that you have to question. Is like all these years I felt like I had to, but I realized 30 years later that my relationship with the Lord hasn't changed if I don't tithe and if I don't make it to church on Sunday. So
Yeah.
now that's another
So then
thing,
now
another.
people got real questions. Now they're like,
No,
okay, so what my
seriously.
yeah, no, I'm not gonna seed into you until I make sure that you're really giving back and doing what you're supposed to be doing. Which is why now
Seriously.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the shift because I feel like people need to be exposed at this point. Are you really walking like you talking it? Like, cause I mean, now it's the veil is open. People can see.
That's the thing. If they looking, and that's like we want to maybe save the souls, but and that's the thing. Those are the things that it makes the world go around. The world that we live in go around. It would shut the world, a real natural world. It would shut it down to have people
Yeah.
manipulate it. 'Cause I do think religion preys on the weak. I do
Mm,
think that you fall harder when you feel like you have nothing else to hold on to.
yeah.
And that is where people, find, what I'm saying. That's what mainly Christians feel so emboldened and emblazoned to look down on people because they feel like they have this relationship with their church and their Lord and things like that. When it should be the complete opposite. Because of your relationship with the church and the Lord, you should be extending and offering and helping and encouraging and things like that, as opposed to
Yep.
looking down your nose at people because you think you're better because tell me why. First of all, tell me why you think you're better. And secondly, you're wrong. because everything that you preach in and everything you go to on Sundays, Sunday service and Thursday Bible study and whatever, all I don't even know if they do whatever, all those things, it's in complete contradiction of what you're learning in your book of what they preaching on Sunday when you leave the fucking place and you come in with your judgment and your condensation.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Condensation,
Condensation.
whatever, you know what I mean, all that stuff. It's
Yeah.
just wrong. And that was one of the first things. If it wasn't the dinosaurs, it was definitely the fact that okay, now church people are some of the nastiest people, or some of the gossipiest, some of the shadiest people I
Man,
know. But that is not what the pastor preached on Sunday. And at the same time, the pastor's over here doing the this and the that and the thing and the thing and the thing
and
and the
the
thing.
things and the
And that's the thing
things.
about it.
But I think, and here's the thing that I think is weird about religion, because of the fact that now it puts you in the space of power. If they were in a situation to where they actually, if everybody were forced to walk this to walk this chalk line and have all this thing, which honestly, truly, that's why honestly, I understand that the reason why. Then this is the thing. This is the idealism that
Worth a damn.
worth a damn, right. This, if God is who He is, and the atonement is what it is, we were
Hmm.
gonna be messed up anyway, and that's why He did what He did. That's what the whole situation is.
Hmm.
So if you understand that because of your sin, you're covered, right?
Hmm.
You have to allow people to be able to move in this, and it took you a minute to get there because you weren't a Christian your whole life. It took
Right.
you a minute to get to that thing and to be able to have that faith. You got to allow people to have the space to find God on their own, and and don't be a result in the reason why they turn away, because
Right.
church
Be
hurt
able
is
to
real.
live
I've watched it and experienced it. So
hmm
it's not, I mean, people want to be, oh, the church hurt is not everybody's going to hurt you. No, but the one place that the church is really to people as a hospital in a sense.
It's
When
a
you go
hospital
to,
or
you're
your
never supposed.
home.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
The hospital or your home. It's a safe space for
Yes,
you
these are
to
the
be
family. You know
welcome.
what I'm saying? Church
Yeah.
family. These are family folk. The least that I'm if I'm going to get hell in the world, I'm not supposed to get it from a place where I'm supposed to have found solace. And this is from the faith, from the people that of the God that loves me.
Right.
You have to make sure that you're an exact representation. If you're gonna keep, you got to be careful with how you speak and how you are as a Christian.
Right.
Christians don't get that and then get mad at people of the world that don't get it. Well, you haven't figured this out yet, and that's why you go back and forth.
Not a culture. That sounds, I want to slide through a cult. I just want to sit in the back pew and
I
I don't
ain't
want to
even gonna
sit
fool
in
with
the
it. I cannot. I'm scared to go in
I'm
there.
open, see, I'm open to things. You want to know why? Because I'm firm in what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sliding through no cult with no
But what if they
Kool-Aid
make you
around.
stay? What if they
Girl,
make you
please.
stay?
Girl,
Can
please.
they make
I'm
you
gonna either
stay? I
die
don't
or they gonna
know.
die. Somebody gonna die. Somebody dying. I'm out. I'm out
I
either way. I'm not
don't want
into
to.
that.
I don't want
They
to
want
go
to
there and then
blood
they be like, "You
sacrifice.
can't
Hey, they better
leave,"
get some of this. They better come
because
on and
I
get
have to fight everybody. I'm afraid to go in there and then I have to fight everybody because they won't let me leave, and they over here asking me, "You got to come back.
some.
You got to come back." No, I'm not coming back. Leave me
No,
alone.
but I
I'll
shouldn't
fight
because
all of y'all.
you're supposed to go into those places with an open heart. And I wouldn't, not that, no, I wouldn't say that I have an open heart. I was just inquisitive. You know what I'm saying? I'm deep diving, investigative discovery. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do some shit like that. I'm not here for no word, and I'm not trying to hear to be sacrificed. I'm just here to get
Yeah.
an assessment of the situation. Because that's the thing is so many different religions. It's like Jehovah's Witness too.
Hmm.
So many different
My
religions with
daddy
so
was one
many
of them.
ideas and stuff. Huh?
I said my daddy was one of them. Ooh, no. But see, the reason
Absolutely.
and reason why he's the reason why I would never. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, you not. Mm-mm. If you're the representation of what, no. Mm-mm.
No, seriously.
Mm-mm.
And that's what,
I'm,
and that's why
I- I'm comfortable
representation is
with
so
the God I
important.
serve. Thank you.
And that's how I feel, the pastors and, everybody's a man, everybody lives, ooh, not a Kojic cult. Cause
Not
that's
a
crazy. But
That's like an
pastors,
inside and inside,
no,
because
seriously,
they already
seriously,
inside a
pastors,
code.
it's a requirement. I mean, you take the position, and that's the thing is like, oh, you can't, oh, I'm just a man, can't be your excuse when you have the responsibility of leading people to be better, essentially.
Yeah.
And so you can't be out here willy-nilly doing things of the world, essentially, and then want to get up and
Yeah.
preach, but your preface is that I'm just a man. No, because you would think the Lord, right, would
Right.
use the proper vessel, right, to bring forth the word, the meaning, the fruitful information that you need to sustain you to the next time you're there, right? But then that's another question because that don't always happen. Because these pastors,
Yeah.
like these celebrities, have these complexes that they want to be seen. They got to get up on the stage. They got to be heard.
Hmm.
They want to be
Yeah.
understood, and they want to be paid. And
It's
none
so
of
many
those things
people
talk about
that will box
assimilate
somebody in
or
the
they
church
want to
right now
with the
for a
people.
spot for the thing to be the music leader, the this, the that, and I'm just like, y'all over here, and then y'all want to sit here and say that was the thing that pissed. I was just that annoyed the hell out of me when I heard him say that, because I'm like, you can't be serious, like. And I kept rewinding it. I'm like, are you really like pronouns into really? That's what you think? Like it messed me up because I'm like, you can't say you don't know none of the shit you're talking about. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. And these are the people who are sitting in these seats, and then these are the people who are influencing said people who are possibly going to be in Senate seats. That's what I'm afraid of. It's cool for you to be, say what you say in the confines of your church, but don't go out here and be in spaces where because your heart ain't right. Don't do that. You need to stay in the space in your little influence. Don't take your ass down here and sit in the house. Don't do that. Like keep that over there because
And
it's not conducive to elevation. It's not conducive to that.
that's the thing, and that's why if take your statement about being understanding yourself and taking a moment, taking a beat to just figure out who you are, what you want, and how you want to do things, because then that will separate you, or it won't even welcome you. You won't even feel comfortable in those sorts of places because it's like, well, this I'm not getting. First of all, I'm not getting anything that I need here, and secondly, at the same time, it seems to be deterring me from the very direction that I was going and when I felt like everything was all right, because
Yeah.
you find yourself a little bit maybe complacent inside some church setting because this is where they want you to be. But none of that is at the same time helping you, building you to be a better individual outside of that place. Because then,
Here's how I knew I was in that same mode, and here's how I knew. I kept going to the altar, and then I kept getting, you know how you do to go in the altar, and then
yeah,
something for a
yeah,
reason. I said,
yeah,
you know what? I don't even want her to touch me. I want to go to the altar for myself. That's how I knew I can't. That this is may not be the place where I'm just gonna be complacent. I need more, so I have to go outside the confines and do something with something with my faith. I
yeah.
got tired of going I got tired of going to the altar. And I also got tired, and this is just me being me. I got tired of seeing the same folk up there because I'm like, you've been here as long as I've been here. This don't bother you and you up here every Sunday.
Yeah.
Is something wrong with you or something wrong with me? Like
Right.
that's
Absolutely.
how it was. Like I was like, nah. And so then I was like, okay, well, I love this church. This is the church that really helped me to build my understanding of God. I love the camaraderie, even though like I've seen little things here or there, but I believed in I believed in the person that was at my church. The woman of God in my church,
Hmm.
she's that girl. But also the thing about it is that she also showed us and helped us to see God for ourselves. But when I knew that I felt like I was treating the church and her and everything in it as a crutch, and I needed to get out of that was when I knew, okay, well, this is a stepping stone, but there's more. You know what I mean? And there's always should be more, and that more should be pushing you towards understanding God more, not being hateful towards his people. Because to me, I feel like we all come here as a blank slate, and you don't know how what realm you're going to come in. You came in here in the realm where where this was the standard, this was this, everything was socially constructed, even your faith, and then now you're thinking that's the truth. You had if God is omnipotent, God is all knowing, and if that's a problem, that's his problem to take care of. You can't even do the basics. you got to get those basics down. You see what I'm saying? If God has a problem with it, God has to heal that part and do something to it. If that's what needs to be done, that has nothing to do with you. You see what I'm saying? You have to be the person to where you are giving the mercy that was given to you. You are giving the atoning power that was given to you as a believer. That's my earnest. And since you were not born in this space of knowing anything about the world you were coming into, you have no right to put that on anybody else, because everybody has a story, everybody has a journey to get to God, and you have to make sure that in that journey, if that person comes across you, you are a good representation of who God is. That's what you're supposed to be doing, not anything else. And I think that's the piece that church folk miss. They
Mm-hmm.
miss that part, and that's why people are coming out of the faith. That's why people are not really honing on to anything, and that's why it just seems like it's a parade. It's a fashion show, and I think more than anything, people are talking about the world and what's about to happen to everybody else. I hope y'all gonna be because the church gonna be the ones first being condemned. So I hope y'all in right proper alignment. You know what I'm saying? Get your
But they're
house in
not.
order.
That's the thing. They house not in order, and that's the thing. That's the most. That's the thing. Is it's the projection,
Yeah.
and don't even go. It's you talking about tapping in and finding Christ for yourself and everything like that, building a relationship for yourself and understanding yourself. You're not even doing that because you're projecting your wrongdoings and your misgivings and things like that on other people, and then you feel validated or forgiven when you go to fucking church. But then that starts the whole thing. But you say, well, if I just go on Sunday, so now it becomes
I'll be
a
clean. Yeah, it's a
habit.
pattern. Yeah.
You get into this habit of going to this place to get this
Yeah.
thing, and but nothing has
And it
changed. Like
don't
you
and
said,
it don't hold after church. You see what I'm saying?
20 years.
Because then you got to go to Bible study on Wednesday. Then you got
No,
to go to
seriously.
church service. Then you got to go to revival on Friday. Like it's just it's not a lasting situation. And you know that, which is why you keep going. But nothing clicks in your mind to be like, you know what? I think I want to do something else. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. I'm getting text messages. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, it's just people are not coming into understanding of themselves and their faith, and it's sad because it's just turned more people away.
It's souls. You turn the people away. It don't. I should say it don't bring the people in. And
No, it don't.
you lose the souls. I mean, if I'm gonna speak religiously, you lose the souls that you are put in your position to gain.
Yeah,
And you weren't in a position to gain them for your own monetary benefit. You were in a position to gain them to save them, to
for
give them
his.
this
Yeah,
freedom. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. And most times that's not what happens. That's not what
yeah,
happens. That is my
yeah,
problem. It'd be the old heads in the church and their snotty toddy ways, or whatever the case may be, or looking down at somebody because they don't want to wear a three-piece suit or a floral length gown to fucking church, and they just want to, what I'm saying, and things like that. And it's just like, well, I'm trying to come here for the same thing you getting here getting. What the hell makes me any different?
yeah.
Because if you're out there preaching with
Then
like the
because
daily
of
bishop,
because of my
you get
attire,
the same thing.
it's
It's a mess.
oh man, it's a mess. It's a whole mess.
What the hell?
It's a whole mess.
Who is? What the fuck is that? Why are you behind the horn like that? Be right on the bell like that. Jeez, even the grown kids. Um, mm-mm. Sure, it's a lot going on.
Yeah, I don't. I'm sorry. We went on like 20 million tangents.
Mm.
It's
No, we
good.
always do tangents. You don't have to apologize no about no tangents now. By no means, I love a good tangent, especially when it could be carried on. So,
Yeah,
but that's definitely,
it's a good
those
combo.
it's an amazing convo. I appreciate having you come on up here. Thanks to Monique.
I I
Thanks
right.
to
I appreciate you having me. I be over here listen to a lot of these lives, and sometimes I get bored. My attention span on a lot of this stuff be, I when I'm past something, I get bored by it, and
Mhm.
then I'm just like looking for different conversations to have because it'd be the same shit every day.
No, no, we we like to spice it up and keep it very not general. I think it was the store. But we be all over the thing from fucking industry to religion to lollipops. Like Monique said, we be all over the place.
For a minute, I thought she said lily pads, and then she said
Lily pads. I'm
lollipops,
like, why
and then
are we
she
talking
said,
about lily
I was like,
pads?
girl, I was like, okay, lily pad. All right, you can have your words. See, that's what I'm saying. I give her too much, I was giving her too much space. I'm like, oh, but she calls it a lily pad. Oh, she
Trying to
calls it
be
a lollipad.
funny.
Like, I wasn't even.
Who's saying lollipop? Do y'all say
I'm
lollipop?
like, okay. I'm
Girl,
gonna
do
say
you
what
have
the kids say. That's what it seems. It's giving. What's the words they calling they thing? What's the kids saying?
I don't know. Beans? I don't know.
That's what it's
That's what
giving.
it is.
That's what it was given, and then he gave her a word, and then she just ran with it, and then she changed it up as she went. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, like I said, she was just trying to be funny. A lily
Yeah,
pad. Girl, shut up. You 50 something years old.
girl.
Do you get over here? Okay.
Be like this hot.
Get over here and eat this box. So that's what you say to her.
Right,
Lily
right.
pad. She's a clown.
Very.
But it was I got on like I said I got seen that because I was like let me get on along with you. I didn't expect this, but and this was great. But then off of it because yesterday somebody was like you should watch Ultimate Girls Trip on live, so I'll be doing that.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, I said I'll be doing that probably with this next episode. But I thought about watching the first four episodes on here too, just to get things, just to get start the
If
train
you do, I'll
moving.
be back. If you do, I'll be back. Cause I think that's is that the ones with the housewives?
Yeah, they go. They right now they in fuck it. Thailand.
Mhm.
The girls from Miami, Atlanta,
Yeah.
a
Okay.
portion
And they with
on
some
there,
of the
and
girls. They with some of the girls from New York too. Cause I seen a few, and
Leah. I think
Giselle
Leah
gonna be
don't.
on there.
Who?
I think Giselle gonna be on there.
Oh yeah, Giselle and Candace is
Jamal
on.
Bryant. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing too. A mess of the church because Jamal Dan Bryant, a mess of the
Mm-hmm.
church.
A
Giselle
mess.
Bryant, a
He is
first
the
lady
messiest pastor.
somewhere
I
or
would just come there
something.
just to hear him be messy. Cause I know that's what he gonna do. Just for
The people talking about
entertainment
how he had
purposes.
Malaysia Cargo on the payroll. I don't need to be there for the sermon. Okay, that's
Oh
not what
wow.
I'm there for. I'm not here for a word. I'm here for the tea.
Right. All the time.
For the tea, and that's the thing. Why people go in, people don't give their money. Now we're not even going to church for the right reasons. And again, a sham.
Right. I'm just going there to see how messy he gonna be in the service. That's bad. See, look bad at me. That's messed up of me. But I do. But I mean, I don't know. My thing is this. I feel like at this point, what are people really going to church for? Like the thing. Okay, this was the thing that
What
pissed
you ain't
me off.
got
I
after
know,
all this
because
time
I
that
know
you
you
think you can
seen
get on
this,
this Sunday?
huh?
What you ain't got after all this time that you think you're gonna get on this Sunday? That be the thing. At least in
Right.
school, they're gonna do a new lesson. The teacher might incorporate a new
Brand
book.
new. They
Maybe
not.
read off the same book. Somebody did a joke too. What's the one book that never changes and everybody reads it or some shit like that? Something like the Bible. It
Reads
was a
it
better joke.
different.
But
Yeah.
Jamal, why Malaysia's house is in foreclosure allegedly. Is that right?
Ooh.
Then payments stop.
Interesting.
Then payments have stopped.
Wow.
But
But ain't she the BM though? Did she like didn't they have a baby? That's why
no,
they divorced?
Malaysia and Jamal don't got no kids.
Which Malaysia though? You talking about Malaysia from
Basketball wives, Malaysia Pargo.
Basketball Wives?
Hmm.
Oh wow. I thought she was
Stay
the side
tuned.
girl. I'm like, I didn't know you talking about them. I'm like, I don't think they ever had. So who? So were they dating? How are they connected?
They were dating, connected, something like that, and she was on the payroll. He was paying her for whatever services she was providing. Who knows? Styling? I don't know. Bed sheets?
Oh,
I'm not sure. Head? I'm not sure.
oh,
I'm not sure.
interesting.
It is. It is
Hmm.
interesting.
Interesting. Wow. Okay, Jamal. See, I don't see my. I don't know.
Not a beard benefit. That part too.
He
But then we
one
should be able to
one
see them.
oh, the one guy leaves, and then now you take over, and and you be just as bad. It's like I don't get it. I don't get it.
I mean, that's how all them.
Yeah.
That's how all them pastors be.
Your
Mhm.
benefit. I'm done.
That's the beard benefit. Right? We would have to have seen them out. All right.
Mm.
For the beard benefit.
I
Um,
wonder the thing
Mike.
that you remember
Uh-huh.
Mike Todd? You remember Mike
Mike.
Todd, the
Who's that?
pastor, the pastor dude.
Let me look at him.
You probably seen him before.
Mhm.
He went he had like smeared like spit on his brother's face.
He would spit on his
That was
brother's
one.
face.
Yes.
What? Michael Todd?
Chalk to smear. Yeah.
What? Oh yeah, here we go. He was an American film producer too. You can't be preaching and producing.
I mean, what you call it, do it. But he got a different entity
Oh,
though.
this
It's
black
not the
guy.
same thing.
This is a different guy now. Hold on now.
He
This is.
bled.
I was looking at some white man. Now I see. I
Oh
see
no.
him now. He got some. He got the the big hair, the long the hair like the boys got now. And he spit on somebody's thing. He got a bunch of books.
They
Maybe
all
just.
do.
I need to write me a book. I
Everybody
wouldn't
got
know.
everybody got a new book coming out.
And that's as I'm sitting there saying I should write me a book. I don't know what I would write about. I would write about the same thing Monique's talking about in that damn special. She should have put it in a damn book. That's what she should have did this whole
She
damn
should have made a
time.
memoir.
That's what we've been
That
saying
was that was
too.
but that wouldn't have paid out the way Netflix would have paid out for that special
Sure
because she
it would
wouldn't have
have.
sold.
Sure it would have. Her advance would have been $500,000. Everybody was gonna go out and buy that damn book.
I doubt it. People don't be unless they put it on Audible. Ain't nobody about to be reading no book.
No, I
They
love
don't
a
be
good
reading.
book. I
There's
love a
certain
good book.
people that there's certain people, but it has to be enough. It's not a large unless she
Boy,
gonna put that on Audible. Well, she probably will have. That would have been the cool. She could have did a comedy album. She should have did a comedy album.
now we got people like, and that's what I'm saying. You get people like
She could have
Beyonce
gotten
that
another Grammy off that.
do things different than anybody else has ever done them all these years, and these visuals and the things. And Monique don't be like, oh, well, let me do a comedy album, and every clip or track is a different year or some shit, or you know what I mean, that sort of thing, or something.
Right.
You can stream it on the go or whatever, as opposed to this Netflix thing that you. The biggest thing. Let me just because I'm not like I said, there's takeaways and the things and the things and the things. My biggest
Hmm.
problem, and I think this is because I'm about to settle the fuck down. The biggest thing is that she made all this commotion and all these issues and had all this to say about the damn Netflix paying her money. Now she come back to Netflix. We don't know how much she getting paid, and it wasn't even worth what we thought it was. It wasn't even worth. It wasn't even what we thought Netflix was denying her to do. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So now we're
Exactly.
just like, what? Girl, you had played with my time, is what you had did. And
Yeah.
now what do you
Don't
do,
stop
my
playing with my
baby?
top. Stop playing with our top.
My
I mean,
baby. Girl,
this
we
next
grown.
thing got to be
And
the
I
biggest thing since
we
sliced bread
grown.
at this point, or else I'm about to check out. Like, period.
I'm
I'm not gonna care what you got going on in a minute, Monique. I'm gonna be like, oh, that's nice for her, and scroll past when I see it, cause this ain't it.
that part. So that's what I said. She got to come out with something that really amps this up, or just maximize on this momentum. If there's anything, that'll be her last Netflix special, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
And anybody that had watched that, and all them Netflix officials, and Clarence Avon's wife, who's sitting there next to her husband, who's the CEO of Netflix, they all was like, "Yeah, we did. We gave it to her, and now this proved why we didn't want to give her to her the first time."
Yeah. Yeah. Now you just proved a point, and I was hoping you wasn't gonna. Oh,
No,
I'm aggravated. I'm so upset.
and
I
that's the
thought I
problem.
was just sleepy because I was drinking, but I probably fell asleep because it was boring. I was trying to give the benefit, see me giving people the benefit of the doubt. I was drunk. I was sleepy. I was tired because I came off work.
Uh-uh.
Now I'm like, well, damn, Monique. It's
And I
cause
did. If
it's
I
cause
wasn't
the
watching
stuff
with y'all,
started.
honestly, if I wasn't
Man,
watching with y'all, I would have probably turned it off when she said he started rubbing on the lallet hat and put it in my nose. I probably would have turned it off
I had
then.
checked out after the uncle. I was just like, was
Oh,
she
lick
getting with
my
something
dick
over there?
or
Like,
something.
what was
Yeah,
this?
kiss my
That was
dick or
that.
something like that.
I was like, oh no. I was like, okay.
Girl, so bored, so bored. And that's what Monique. The jokes were. It was juvenile. It was
Yeah.
juvenile. And it was back where what are you 7 years old? And I don't know what you said when you were 7 years old. See, I forgot
Get
already.
somebody else to do it. You shouldn't have had this man help you write nothing. It wasn't. He shouldn't have had no writing credits and none of that.
She could have
Cause he
called the
don't.
weed
Cause he's not a
runner.
comedian.
She could have called Kevin. She could have even called Chelsea. Somebody else.
Anybody.
And at the end
Anybody.
of the day, like I said, she needed to be producing and putting it like Tiffany Haddish or even Chelsea Handler is doing on Netflix. That's the thing Monique should be doing. But that's what I'm saying. Even with all that I said, and that's the thing about it. It's not just one thing. Okay? It's not just one thing.
Well,
We can't just be right because this one situation can't be right because the next one not gonna be right and the one before that wasn't right. Just like the presidencies. Okay? Shit just ain't right.
right. It's not right.
So that's
Yeah.
just that. We really could have all the solutions. And, and honestly, it don't take much to rectify solutions, especially like this. It's like, okay, you have this credibility, you have this career and this resume. Here's your next move. Put all your energy into it because this will push you into the next move. And that's something Monique already knows, but she simply dropped the ball. And like I said, and then now that gets me into thinking about why did she drop the ball? She is a seasoned actress and comedian and entertainer. Why would she not show up and put together a knockout fucking show because she went through all this with Netflix? You know what I'm saying? So now I have to think theories of why we found ourselves in that situation. Because Monique, yeah, she might have been retarded at 7, but she not stupid at 54. So now we
Yeah.
honestly try to figure it out. And I find myself in these theories and
Yeah.
they make
It don't. Yeah. Yeah.
and
And the thing about it is that like I, I was just expecting more, man. I was just more drugs, but more into the stuff that was going to have this to be the biggest. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Now it's like I don't want to hear the commentary about it because I know what it's gonna be. It's gonna be people
right.
that are gonna say this was amazing, and I'm gonna sit here and be like, "Girl, bye." And the thing about it is that just like with, because this is why I felt about this is why I felt a little bit irritated at the Rihanna thing, because I was hyped up. I was like, okay, she just got the baby, she done baby, she in the prep for doing. They were showing all these clips just down. I'm like, oh, she got the dancer, because I know the dance Paris. Her choreography is everything, so she gonna have her do it because she was also doing her Fendi thing. So I'm like, I was
Mhm.
hyped about this. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm like, oh, she like, what is this? The same thing, and then it was just like it gave me anxiety to find out that she was pregnant. Cause I'm like, she was on the floaty thing. So I'm like, I don't even want to know. And so now with this, I'm like, girl, you had us hyped for nothing. Like I was really like, they finally gave her one. I was happy, all this stuff, and I'm like,
Even the
Monique,
outfit, it was a bit lackluster. Thank God it had a little
I'm like,
shimmer
come
to it because it
on,
was real basic. At least from
girl,
what
no,
I
you.
saw, it
I
wasn't
mean, I
nothing.
like she. I liked what she wore because she was in, like, she has. I feel like I love her body, and I feel like she makes something. She puts stuff
She
on to
definitely
fit
took the
her body, so
time.
I like it. But I mean, it's like, man, you definitely could have did more. And even with that, I would have loved to see her
That
just
was just the
in her
concept.
regular dress heels, like she wasn't. I think she had another. She did have another special. She wasn't
So
she? Or maybe it was a clip from something. Maybe it was on her stand up. But she was on another. She was had another special before this, and she was just in like a regular dress, heels, just doing her thing, and even that was good and funny. So of course we were now all of this stuff about the Netflix shooting made up with certain people. We're expecting this to be grand, and it was just it was given, girl. You should have had somebody else to do it.
I just want
Had
to know
somebody else.
what she felt like. I need to have Monique on the podcast, Iconically Psychotic podcast, because she was
Yeah.
iconically psychotic and that is special. And I just want to know what her and Sydney said after it aired. Not Professor Ogilvy.
I
Again, the
well
second
shoot.
promotion. What did she say her
Yeah, okay.
last name was? Because I don't even think I know Monique's last name. Besides whatever
Oh,
Sydney
oh,
was.
she said it too.
She
Damn.
But
I probably zoned out when she said it. I wasn't
I,
keeping up.
I would have went to sleep if we're not on. I would not went to sleep. Imes, Imes. Um, she has 4 kids. Trending, Paula Patton. Why is she trending next to Monique after